After 6 years of trading and 4 years of profitability, this is still the highest probability strategy I have ever used, and it's called the Breakout Strategy. I use it to scalp the 15 minutes time frame almost every single day. The idea is simple. You wait for price to break above resistance for buys or break below support for sells. It works across all pairs and all sessions. And in this video, we'll go over the basics, the steps, real chart examples, and at the end, I'll give you a simple checklist you can use every time you are looking for a breakout trade. Let's get into it. So, as you can see over here, these are what I like to call the 5 pillars of the breakout strategy. We've got resistance, support, consolidation, breakouts, and fakeouts. For me, these are the 5 most important concepts you need to understand before you consistently take breakout trades. If you don't understand any of them, it's going to be a very difficult journey whenever you use this strategy. Now, here's the thing. Support and resistance could literally be an entire course on its own, consolidation as well, even fakeouts. But in this video, I'm not going to go too deep into each one of them. Instead, I'm going to explain them only in relation to this strategy, just enough for you to understand how everything works together. If you'd like me to make a full video on support and resistance, consolidation, or whatever, just let me know in the comments, okay? Alright, let's say we are looking at a chart like this. This right here is a textbook example of a breakout trade. Using everything from the 5 pillars, this is exactly what a successful breakout trade looks like. Over here, we have price, and at the top, we have our resistance, and at the bottom, we have our support. Resistance is simply where price keeps bouncing off like a ceiling, while support is where price keeps bouncing off like a floor. Hope that makes sense. Now, between our support and our resistance, we have what we call a consolidation. A lot of people will tell you to avoid consolidations, but I won't tell you that. In fact, I actually look out for them. Because when price is consolidating, buyers and sellers are basically having a tug of war. Neither of them are in complete control yet. So, we are waiting to see who eventually wins this tug of war, and if buyers win, then we'll have to join them in the train, and if sellers win, then we have to join the sellers. Do you get what I mean? Now, in this example, price broke above resistance, right? That's our breakout. Now, that breakout tells us that buyers have won the tug of war. Instead of taking our entry immediately the candle broke above the resistance, we had to wait for the candle to close. And once the candle closed, our entry was taken at the next candle for a continuation to the upside. Now, this is what I call a clean breakout. Let me show you the opposite. Over here, price tried to break below support. Some traders see this and immediately jump into a sell because they think support has broken. But that's exactly how people get caught in fakeouts. Notice that price never actually closed below this support. Instead, it reversed straight back into the range. So anyone who took a sell here got faked out. That's it. This is why it's so important for you to wait for the candle to close. Now that we understand the basics, let's go into the steps. Now, step 1 says mark your zones, and this is literally the most important part of this entire strategy because how you place your zones can literally make or break this strategy. Over here, this is our current price. When you are marking your support and resistance zones, you always want to mark the zones that are closest to the current price. For example, I'm not going to come all the way up here and call this my resistance. Why? Because it's too far away from the current price we are trading right now. Instead, I'm going to go for the nearest resistance around the current price. So I'll place my resistance somewhere around here. And my support zone would be around here. Now, at first glance, this looks correct, but there's one problem. When I say mark your zones, I don't just mean draw random support and resistance. I want you to mark the actual range, the area price is genuinely consolidating. Another way to think about it is this. Place your zones where once price breaks the zones, there's actually room for price to continue pushing. Do you get what I mean? Now let's take a look at this example. See this. Notice this resistance. Notice I placed my resistance level here. But if you look to the left, you'll see another level of resistance sitting almost immediately above it. Even if price breaks above this level of resistance, we have this other level we are going to run straight into. That means there is no clean space, not enough range for us to actually take a trade. Instead, I'm going to move my resistance up here. Now, if price breaks this level, it has much room or more clean traffic for us to continue pushing higher. Now, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And that's why I say the way you mark your zones can literally make or break your strategy. I'm going to just leave my resistance here and I'll leave my support here. Now let's move to step 2, which is waiting for our confirmation candle. And I'm just going to move one candle forward. Now look, this candle has closed. And notice how the candle closed. It came up, tapped this level of resistance, but was not able to break it. This is exactly what I mean when I say wait for a confirmation. You need to wait for a confirmation because things like this can happen. We need to see price break above this level of resistance and close above it. Once the candle closes, that's our confirmation. It's literally just patience, okay? Now imagine you rushed and took an entry around here because you are like, oh, price has broken above this level, so with volume we should break above this level. That's not how it is. You need to wait for it to close. You literally need to wait for it to close. I can't emphasize on how important it is to wait for your candle to close. Just wait for it to close. Now let's move one candle forward. Exactly, this is our confirmation candle. This close above this level of resistance is our confirmation that buyers have won the tug of war. Another reason I like this confirmation candle is because it didn't fly too far away from our breakout level. It still left room for the next candle, and that next candle is what I like to call our entry candle, and that brings us to step 3. Now, step 1 says mark your zone, step 2 says wait for the confirmation candle, step 3 is about entries, how you take your entry, okay? And it is taking our entry on the entry candle. Now, our entry candle should have 2 things. Our entry candle should wick down, retest the zone, and break above this confirmation candle. That's it. Remember, once this resistance is broken, it now has a potential to become support. So we need to wait for price to actually come down, tap on this level, respect it, and then break above the high of our confirmation candle, and that's our entry. So once that happens, we are simply going to anticipate price to continue moving higher. We'll take our entry here, our stop loss will go below the retest or below the previous candle, and our take profit can go for a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2 depending on the size of your range. Those are the 3 steps I follow every single time I trade breakout. Now let's jump into some real chart examples. And remember, if you stick to the end of this video, I'm going to give you my personal breakout checklist for free. Don't skip ahead, watch the explanations first, because once you've seen these setups play out in real charts, the checklist makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, and real quick before we continue, if you want to trade like me and trade with me, I've got something for you. In the description, you can join my free community. Inside you get the 100 pips manual completely free, where I break down everything I know about market structure. On top of that, every month we do live trading and backtesting sessions to help you better understand the market and become a profitable trader. It's completely free, so if you want to learn my strategy, click the link in the description to join my community. Now let's get back to the video. Alright, let's get into it. Our first example is gold, using obviously the 15-minute time frame. Now if we are following the steps I showed you earlier, what's the first thing we need to do? We need to mark our zones, okay? Now listen, this is where price is currently at. So if I'm going to mark my zones, I need to mark my support and resistance level around this current price we are trading. And looking around this area, this is our most recent level of support. So I'll place my support right here. If I look through the left hand side, there is no really any obstacle. If price breaks below this support level, I'm expecting the next candle to push down and fill this wick. Now if we fill this wick, this is something we call a wick fill. So our support zone has been marked. What about our resistance zone? At first, it seems like this should be our resistance because this level is very close to our current price. Instead, I'm going to move our resistance over here. And why I'm moving our resistance over here is because if I place the resistance zone around here and we break above here, we have this level of resistance to the left hand side, which is not far away from this zone. So it's just best to mark this whole place as your zone. So I'm just going to place our resistance zone around here. If we break and close above this zone, I am more confident to take an entry. Now I am happy with my support and resistance zones. The next step is simple. We wait. What we're looking for right now is our confirmation candle. I'm not looking for entries inside this range. I'm not trying to predict anything within this range. I'm simply waiting for price to either break and close above my resistance zone or break and close below my support zone. That's it. Even if I see what looks like a nice setup inside this range, I'm not taking it because that's the plan. If you don't follow your trading plan, you are setting yourself up for failure. So let's just play the candles and see how it goes. Next. Exactly. Now we have what we are looking for. Price has broken above our resistance zone, and not only that, it also closed above our resistance zone. This is our confirmation candle. We have step 1 and step 2 complete. Do I enter immediately? No. I still want to see my entry candle. I want price to come back and retest this area, then break above the previous candle for a continuation to the upside. As you can see, this candle here did not give us any entry, and that is completely fine. To me, this is an indecision candle. I'm not interested in it. I'm simply going to wait for a proper entry candle. Let's keep going. Now watch this. Price has now broken the high of our previous candle. It's safe to say we found our entry candle. So my entry is going to be around here. My stop loss will be below this candle, and my take profit is going to be all the way up here around this next level. So we have like a 1 to 2 weeks to reward trade. Let's see how it plays out. As long as price doesn't break the low of the previous candle, I'm still in the trade. Take profit hits just like that. Exactly how we planned. We marked our zones, we waited for confirmation, we entered on the entry candle. Now let's move on to another example. This is our current price, and this is our recent support, and this is our recent resistance. Oh, and also, if you're wondering, this line I placed here is where I'm expecting my target to be. So if price can break and close above this level of resistance, I'm going to take an entry at the entry candle for price to continue pushing up. Or if price can break and close below this level of support, I'm going to take an entry for price to continue pushing down, because we have this clean traffic to the left hand side below support and clean traffic to the left hand side above this resistance. So that is what I am looking for. Okay, now the next thing after we've marked our zones is for us to wait for a confirmation candle. We need to wait for price to break and close either above this level of resistance or below this level of support. Now I'm just going to press the next candle, and then we're going to see what happens. Alright, we can see now that price broke above our level of resistance, but not only that, it actually broke above our target. So now what do you do in situations like this? Don't panic. That's the thing, just don't panic. Now we just need to adjust our zones, okay? In situations like this, what I'll do is to understand that now this is my new resistance zone, and we have price break and close above this new resistance zone, which is fine, and it makes sense because we have this whole clean traffic for price to continue pushing up if we can have an entry candle. If we can have a candle wick down and retest this area and break above this confirmation candle, then I'm just going to place my entry. Now let's see what happens. The candle just created the lower wick, so entry will be taken once price breaks above the previous candle. Stop loss would be below this wick, and I'm going to set my take profit all the way to the next zone for a 1 to 2 weeks to reward trade. You can see it, guys. It's that simple. Let's look at one more example, just one more example, then I'll give you the checklist. Should I give them one more example, or should I just end it and give them the checklist? So we've seen 2 examples, okay? It's time for me to give you the checklists and show you the checklist side by side with a trade I took. So this is the checklist. Now you guys can actually take a screenshot of this right now, and I'm just going to explain how to use it. So you can see the first thing on our checklist is mark your zones. So we need to identify our most recent level of support and resistance, which is what I did here. The next thing we need to wait for is a break and close. And this is what happened here. Number 2, we waited for price to break and close, which we also call our confirmation candle. The third thing we want to check on our checklist is clean traffic. And clean traffic is always found at the left hand side. And why is this important? It's because if we have clean traffic to the left, we can expect our entry candle to actually have a smooth ride. The fourth thing we need to do is to make sure there is a wick retesting that zone. And the last but not the least on our checklist is our entry candle. So our entry candle was confirmed after the wick retested this zone, broke below the confirmation candle, and it just kept pushing down. That's the checklist. We've come to the end of the video, and I really hope you found it valuable. Make sure to leave a comment with whatever questions you have. Subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Also join my community. The link is in the description. Can't wait to see you.